So if we were to celebrate New Year in September as African people, that would be the first basis for our unity.
If we were to celebrate our New Year in September, that would be the first step for our unity as African people. As you all know, Ethiopia celebrated their New Year 2 days, or our New Year, if I may put it that way. Ethiopia celebrated our New Year 2 days ago. As we speak now, Ethiopia is in 2017. The rest of the world are in 2024, or Europe is in 2024. So we made a video and we asked question: must we as African people adopt the Ethiopian calendar as our continental calendar, so that all of us can be celebrating New Year that we can identify with in September? But this elder has break it down. He has go deep into that, and I want us to go and watch the full video. It's a very old video. I've seen it before, but he is just on point. He's just educating us as to what our ancestors used to do. And even till today, indigenous Africans still believe that September is our new year. So for us to go back and join our brothers and sisters in Ethiopia to celebrate our new year in September, we are not doing something that is not belongs to us. We are only going back to fetch back what belongs to us. That is what the Akans in Ghana call Sankofa. So we are not doing something new if we adopt the Ethiopian calendar as our calendar, and we all of us continentally celebrating New Year in September. Everybody got their calendar, everybody got their New Year. The Chinese, the Europeans, the Arabians, the Indians. It is only we, the children of Africa, who doesn't have one. What must we do as children of Africa? Let's go and watch the full video. Come back and analyze it. But before we do that, please don't hesitate to subscribe to our YouTube channel, One African Mission. Support our mission. We are on a mission, and our mission is for all of us, me and you, our dignity. Because we believe that without unity, we can never gain back our dignity. So please support our mission. We intend to go back to evangelism. It's difficult, but we need your support. How do you support us? Is by subscribing, sharing, passing your comments. We are learning a lot from that. So please don't hesitate as you watch this video. If you appreciate what we are doing, the sacrifice we are doing, then please share it, subscribe, and let us all bring our energies together and fight for a dignified Africa, not just for us, but for the next generation of Africans. Let's watch the wisdom and knowledge from our elder. Come back and analyze it.
If you look at all Africans, now we celebrate New Year on the 1st of January. Well, who are we celebrating? Because the rains come in September, and in October, we hold rain-making ceremonies. And then in November, we celebrate nature conversation. In December is first fruit celebrations. And then in March is harvest celebrations. Now, they gave us a Roman calendar, Gregorian calendar. The Romans didn't even have a calendar. When Julius Caesar conquered Egypt and fell in love with Cleopatra VII, he learned about the African calendar. And then from there, he asked someone to adapt it for their use. But because the seasons differ in the north and in the south, of course, they make it upside down. Their summer is our winter, yeah, and vice versa. And then they gave us the version of the distorted calendar of the West, which actually is a copy of our calendar, which they distorted. But if you can go to any community in South Africa, Zimbabwe, Southern Africa, they will say that the year starts in September. Ask them why. Because in September, at the dawn of the new moon in September, there are 7 stars that appear at the center of heaven, These stars, in Kilobedi will say Kilimela. The Pedi will say Slimela. The Tswana will say Slimela. But Sotwark Slimela. The Zulus will say Izlimela. The Karanga will say Chirimela. The Kalanga will say Slimela. So that celestial worldview unites all of us. So if we were to celebrate New Year in September as African people, that would be the first basis for our unity. And why do we celebrate that when those stars appear? Because we say, Isilimo, Shirimo in Tsonga, Chirimo in Venda, Silimo in
The Tswanas.
Tswanas. Now, even the season, our season, is named after the celestial sphere.
True.
And now, those 7 stars, they form a circular wall of heaven. Inside there, you have the highest being. That highest being is called Tapa or Ptah. Tapa is the root of the name Ethiopia. Ptah is the root of the name Egypt. But that is Tapa, and Ptah is defined as the one or the good that we call God. But this one of the good is an unknown and unknowable God, which manifested itself as the Queen of Heaven, Muwari or Muwali Wedenga. Now, that Muwari Wedenga is Karanga, Muwari is Karanga, and Muwali is Kalanga. And the Sotho people say Muhali or Muhali. And that Muhali or Muhali is called Nwari in Tsonga. It's called Nwali in Venda. And then that Queen of Heaven is also defined as the Most High. The Most High in Ndebele is Zimu. In Karanga, in Venda is Muzimu. In Sotho, Kimudimu. So, when these people came, we believed in the higher being that is not even a human being. Kimudimu, Kimuhale, and so on. That's why you have Mahalis Mountain, Mahalisberg, named after God. And that goddess is also called Magore or Magole or Malundi or Maluti.
Okay.
Yes, so as you can hear the elder, exactly what we were saying 2 days ago is what he is saying on this video. This video is very old, a bit older, but he is on point that for us as African people to have our dignity, you see, what we don't know or what we refuse to know is that these colonial criminals, they came with a full package to colonize us. They colonized everything about us. They have done a great damage to us as African people. Our education system, they colonize it. Our spiritual system, they colonize it. Our political system, our governance, everything. So this fight is not just political. It involves everything. So if for us to regain back our dignity, we must have everything that represents us. I now understand, because when I was in Ethiopia, most Ethiopians doesn't want to call themselves Africans. I didn't understand, but now I do. Because you must have something unique that you can identify with. And the Ethiopians have been able to hold on onto this. They refuse to bow down to the European colonial criminals. So they have been able to hold on onto most of our culture. The writing system in Ethiopia is different. They don't use foreign language. They use their own language, which is unique. They use their own calendar as we speak. And this is African calendar, just as our elder is saying here. Why can't we, the continent of Africa, why won't the African Union put aside whatever and adopt this for the entire continent of Africa, so that future generations can also say, you know what, we are also proud that we have something unique that we can identify with. Because the Chinese, the Arabians, the Europeans, everybody got their calendar that they can identify, even though they learn from us, we the originals. The Ethiopian calendar is the oldest. The writing system is the oldest. How come the rest of Africa are not willing or ready to adopt this, so that we can also work with, we'll be walking around the world with pride? We cannot try to imitate people who are imitating us or who imitate us before. Because just as he said, Julius Caesar conquered Egypt. And then that time Europe didn't know what is calendar. When they conquer us, they realize that this is a way of life. This is a civilized way of living. So they learn from us. And today, we are running after them, celebrating our new year in 1st January. Was, as a matter of fact, as African people, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that an African will be celebrating New Year in January. Our New Year, just as the elder is saying here, is in September. This is what an indigenous people around the 4 corners of Africa, they know. So if you go to indigenous Africans, they know that September is our New Year. But what can they do? Because the colonial criminals have imposed their way, their calendar on us. Africans, this generation of Africans, we have the chance never before afforded to any generation of Africans to regain back our dignity. And then we must bring our energies together to overcome this. The Europeans, that was what they did to overcome us. We must all come together, support our mission, support any mission that is fighting for a united Africa. Because future generation will not forgive us when we have this opportunity to leave them a better Africa, and we refuse to do so. We, as I keep saying, cannot blame our ancestors for the Africa that we inherited from them. They didn't know better. They didn't have TikTok. They didn't have YouTube. They didn't have Facebook. They didn't have social media. Today, me and you, we have that. So we must come together and fight for a dignified Africa and leave a dignified Africa for the next generation of Africans. I thank you very much for coming around. Please, once again, let me know your thoughts. Do you think we as children of Africa, do you think we must go back and take our calendar as Africans? Must we celebrate our new year in September as our ancestors or indigenous Africans used to know, just as the elder was explaining to us? I thank you very much for coming around. Please, if you appreciate what we are doing, support our mission, One Africa Mission, the #1 Africa mission. Let us all together fight for a united, dignified Africa, not just for us, but for the next generation of Africans. Thank you.